standard practice footage of all animal exploitation. So we're showing meat, dairy, eggs, and other industries, but also the industries that label themselves free range, organic, grass-fed, cage-free.
Right.
So these aren't necessarily factory farms. And we're also showing the truth about those industries. Because they put that label on the product that says free range, we think that those animals are being cared for and treated with more care, but those labels are not there to make the animals feel better.
Right.
They're there to make the consumer feel better about buying those products. Just for a moment to imagine yourself as being the animal in their position. Would you like to be sliced up?
No.
I've seen these videos before. It's
Yeah.
fucked up.
It really is, isn't it? Do you think animal exploitation for human use is wrong? Of course. What about you as well?
People don't think it's like the whole soul. At the end of the day, it's still a soul.
Yeah, right. They're still living, breathing, sentient beings, right?
Yeah.
Do you think animal exploitation is wrong then?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you acknowledge that animal exploitation is wrong, would you deem it to be just as evil as any other injustice? Racism, sexism, child abuse?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's fair.
Do you think animal exploitation is wrong?
Of course I do, yeah.
Of course you do?
I think all forms of exploitation are wrong.
Yeah, right. I think that's the most common answer we get. What are you willing to do about that?
I'm willing to do a lot of things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever considered being vegan so that you no longer have to contribute
I
to...
have,
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what would be stopping you from doing that today?
What is stopping me from becoming vegan?
Yeah. Maybe we can help you.
Lack of options, of course.
Lack of options?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, you mean you don't have many food options to eat? And things like that?
Yeah, because I work at an airport. I mean, I have, for the most part, I mean, they just sell meat. I mean, that's it.
Well, you can still get vegan food in airports. Would you take the position that you just took with any other injustice? Like, let's say we're talking about sexism or racism
Right.
or child abuse. Would you say, yeah, of course I'm against that. I'm against all of that, but it's too hard for me to not be a racist.
Of course not.
Do you see this as an injustice equal to any other?
Injustice. Yeah, it is an injustice, yeah.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
So what do you think you can do about it?
Well, I don't usually eat meat. I'm not vegetarian, but I just don't like it.
I try to cut down on like my meat, but it's just like realistically, like how do
For
we
ethical
like,
reasons or?
yeah, like yeah, personal, ethical. But it's like logistically, how are we gonna get the actual people who actually run the business to stop in general? Because they're not gonna listen to us.
This is a business, right? So supply and demand, it's basic economics. If there's no demand, there's no reason for them to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And you may not think you have much power as an individual, but let me just break it down for you. In just 1 year, you can impact the lives of 1,000 animals by being vegan. 1,000 animals is equivalent to how many animals you would spare the lives of. You would not exploit as a result of being vegan in just 1 year. Can you imagine 1,000 animals running down the street right now? Change starts with,
You.
yeah,
Inside world makes the outside world.
right. If you agree that animal exploitation is morally wrong, then being vegan is just aligning your actions with those set of values that you say you have. Being vegan isn't about changing who you are. It's about aligning your actions with who you are. You're reverting back to who you are. But we've been conditioned out of who we are by society to be completely apathetic towards animals and callous and just brutalize them and not even give them a thought. And the thing is, we don't even consider them victims most of the time. Human beings just forget that they're victims completely. The only way to avoid the exploitation in this world that we live in is to be vegan, because it's not a perfectionism pill. You can't cause zero harm to animals as a human being. By default, by existing, you're going to cause some harm to some animals along the way. Just as I walked over here to talk to you, I may have accidentally stood on a bug. You know, you can't avoid that. It's not intentional though. Right now, we live in a world where a lot of people understand that this is wrong. A lot of people we speak to understand that this is wrong.
Right.
But not many people are willing to take action
And
to
stop
be vegan,
certain
to
practices.
at least stop supporting this, because that's all being vegan means.
Right.
Doesn't mean you become a saint all of a sudden. You just stop being evil to animals. Like,
Right.
that doesn't need to continue really, so we just stop it. And then if you speak up, then you're doing something good for the planet. But when you become vegan, you just stop doing something bad. The number one benefit for you being vegan is that you no longer have to have this on your conscience. Does this weigh on you at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you think about it, of course.
If this is truly an injustice to you, if you do find animal exploitation to be morally abhorrent, then you no longer have to have the blood of these innocent animals on your hands anymore. Now that you know better, you can do better.
Yeah, of course, anybody can.
Yeah, I mean, we were raised our whole lives not to be vegan, so I understand that we never had the moral imperative to be vegan. But now that you know better, do you think that there is any justification for not being vegan?
I don't think so. No. There's at all.
Would you agree that we have alternatives, that we can be healthy and happy as vegans?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
So would you consider that? You would?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, from talking to you for the short time we've been talking, I can tell that your values say that you're against animal exploitation.
Yes.
But currently, if you're not vegan, your actions will suggest otherwise.
Yeah, I know.
And your actions define you as a character, don't they? So if you go vegan, all you're really doing is aligning your actions with those values that you say you have. So it's not changing anything about who you are at all.
Yeah.
It's aligning your actions with who you are, and therefore living on purpose rather than just living an accidental bullshit life that everybody else is doing and just going along with everything else. And I know that that guilt is shared by everybody else in society at the moment. Slavery was like that not long ago here in America. That was shared by everybody, so slave masters didn't feel guilty back then because everybody else was doing it, so they didn't feel the imperative to do something about it necessarily at that point in time. But now we know, looking back, that was morally bankrupt. So it's the same thing we're kind of dealing with now, where everyone else is sharing the guilt, but we have an opportunity to choose otherwise and to change the course of history. And which side of history do we want to stand on? Because there will be a vegan world. No evil can last forever. Being vegan is really as simple as when you go to buy that food product that you usually buy that has someone's dead body in the center of, the hamburger with bit of flesh or some bodily secretions on top of that. By the way, we give them euphemisms to hide from the fact. We call it bacon instead of pig flesh, leather instead of cow skin. Just think about that. We try to hide from the reality, and then when we face it, it's too hard to not be vegan. I never imagined being vegan. I just want to clarify that as well before I became vegan. I'm not an animal lover. That's not what this is about. You don't have to love animals necessarily in order to know that they should have their rights to life, to liberty. I mean, we can give you a card just so you can do some further research on this, and I'll leave you with that. But I just want to let you know that with finding options that are animal product free, that are plant-based, you can find those options by, when there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure you've heard that, right? You go on Google, you type in vegan food near me at the airport, you can actually go on Happy Cow, and Happy Cow is an app that you can use online or download it, and it will show you all of the spots near you, and you can type in any, if you travel, you can just type in any suburb that you're in, it'll show you all the vegan food in your area. So you will work it out if you have the moral imperative there. You'll go to Subway and get a veggie sub, you'll do what you need to do, and then you'll even bring maybe some plant-based meats into work with you to put in that veggie sub. We don't want this done in our name, right? That's the thing, we're raised by our parents to think that it's okay. We are conditioned and programmed into thinking that this is okay. But you yourself say that this is so cruel, and this is because it is. It's so factually, objectively cruel. And so really it makes too much sense to just be vegan because you're aligning your actions with those values you say you have. Your value system is already vegan, your actions are otherwise.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
You're just being who you are when you're vegan.
Yeah, I think I have to consider becoming a vegan.
I think so too. Would you like some information and support? I'd like to encourage you to take a look at that speech at the top as an example, just one example on here that I think would be really powerful for you.
This top one?
Yeah, the best speech you will ever hear. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. It's 4 million views at the moment, I think. It's by a guy named Gary Yourofsky, and I saw that about 6 years ago, sorry. And that's one of the reasons why I'm out here today. I was raised huge meat lover, and I was never an animal lover. I'm still not really an animal lover. It doesn't have anything to do with that.
I understand.
It's just a basic sense of justice, There are many humans I despise, but I'm not going to go out and kill them. This is a Swiss Army knife to heal the world's ills.
Nice.
Because you will end animal exploitation by being vegan. You also drop your footprint as a human being dramatically, more than any other impactful choice you could make. Being vegan is the greenest thing you can do for the planet.
I just learned the other day how much water it takes for 1 pound of sausage, and I was horrified. I was like,
so wasteful.
I didn't believe that.
And as for 15 minutes of palate pleasure, then we forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dominion, if you really want to understand the true extent of how we exploit animals,
Uh-huh.
go ahead and watch Dominion. It's the most
So it's
comprehensive.
the hardest one to
It's
watch.
dark,
Okay.
but the reality and the truth is harsh. So go ahead and watch that because it really is a wake-up call to what is happening
Thank
on this
you.
planet. And that is the most relevant, this is the most relevant injustice on our planet.
Yeah.
3 trillion animals every year are subjected to slaughter.
Wow.
Every year. And that means that in just one day, there is more violence inflicted on non-human animals by us than in all of the wars in human history combined.
That's crazy.
In just one day, we
Yeah.
cause that much bloodshed. Please be a part of this. Being vegan just aligns your actions with your values.
Right,
and
of
I'll
course,
let,
yeah.
and I'll leave you
Right,
with that.
thank you.
Thanks for
I'll look
stopping
more
by.
into this. Thank you.
All right, take care.